Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen and Learn English. I'm Bruno.
And I'm Carol. We're so happy to have you with us for another relaxed English conversation.
And today's topic is one of my favorite topics in the entire world.
Food?
Food, definitely food. I was already hungry before we started recording.
That's because you were looking at pictures of pizza 5 minutes ago.
I was doing research.
Of course, very serious research.
Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We post new English lessons every day.
And if you enjoy learning English through natural conversations, please give this video a thumbs up. Your like helps other learners discover our lessons.
You can also leave a comment and tell us about your favorite food. Write a simple sentence such as, "My favorite food is pasta," or "I love eating tacos."
Today, we're talking about food in restaurants. We'll discuss favorite meals, ordering food, menus, ingredients, restaurant service, tipping, cooking at home, and different food preferences.
This is a great topic for basic and intermediate English learners because we use food vocabulary all the time.
You may need English when you go to a restaurant, travel to another country, order food online, invite someone to dinner, or explain what you like and dislike.
We'll use natural expressions such as, "I'd like to order," "Could I have?" "What do you recommend?" and "Could we have the bill, please?"
Don't worry if you don't understand every word immediately. Listen for the main ideas and pay attention to how the expressions are used in context.
And if you find a useful phrase, pause the video and repeat it aloud.
Repeating is a great way to improve your pronunciation and confidence.
You can also watch the video a second time while writing down expressions that you want to remember.
So, get comfortable, imagine that we're sitting in a cozy restaurant, and let's start talking about food. Curiosa. Bruno, let's begin with a simple question. What's your favorite type of food?
That's a difficult question because I enjoy many different kinds of food. But if I had to choose just one, I would probably say Italian food.
Italian food is a popular choice. What do you like about it?
I love pasta, pizza, risotto, and fresh bread. Italian food can be simple, but it has a lot of flavor.
What's your favorite pasta dish?
Probably spaghetti with tomato sauce and meatballs. It's classic, comforting, and easy to enjoy.
Comforting is a useful word. It describes something that makes you feel relaxed, happy, or emotionally comfortable.
Exactly. Some foods are comforting because they remind you of home or childhood.
For me, soup is very comforting, especially on a cold day.
What kind of soup do you like?
I like vegetable soup, chicken soup, and pumpkin soup. I also enjoy spicy food, but not every day.
How spicy is too spicy for you?
I like a little heat, but I don't want my mouth to feel like it's on fire.
That's a very important difference.
When food is spicy, it has a strong, hot flavor, often because it contains peppers or chili.
I enjoy spicy food more than you do. I like adding hot sauce to tacos, eggs, sandwiches, and sometimes even pizza.
Sometimes?
Okay, often.
Do you prefer sweet or savory food?
Savory food. I would rather eat a plate of pasta than a piece of cake.
Really?
Well, I said rather. I can always find space for cake.
That sounds more honest.
Savory describes food that is salty or spicy rather than sweet. Meat, rice, soup, and vegetables are usually savory.
And sweet food includes chocolate, candy, fruit, ice cream, and desserts.
What's your favorite dessert?
Cheesecake, especially when it has fresh berries on top.
I like chocolate cake, but I don't eat it very often.
Why not?
Because if I buy a whole cake, I may eat the whole cake.
The entire cake?
Maybe not in one sitting.
In one sitting means during one period of eating without stopping for a long time.
So I try to buy only one slice.
That's a smart decision.
What about your eating habits? Do you eat 3 meals a day?
Usually, yes. I have breakfast in the morning, lunch around noon, and dinner in the evening. I may also have a small snack during the day.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I often eat yogurt with fruit, toast, or eggs. On busy mornings, I make something very quick.
I usually have cereal or toast, but sometimes I skip breakfast.
You skip breakfast?
When I wake up late, yes.
To skip a meal means not to eat that meal.
For example, I skipped lunch because I had an important meeting.
Skipping meals can make you feel very hungry later.
That happens to me. If I skip lunch, I become extremely hungry by 4 o'clock.
And then?
Then I eat anything I can find.
That's when people often choose unhealthy snacks.
Yes, if I'm very hungry, I don't want to prepare a salad. I want something fast.
Planning can help. You can prepare fruit, nuts, sandwiches, or other snacks in advance.
Do you prepare your meals for the week?
Sometimes I cook a large amount of rice, vegetables, or chicken and keep it in the refrigerator.
That's called meal preparation or meal prep.
Exactly. Meal prep saves time and can help you make healthier choices.
I'm not very organized with meal prep, but I do try to keep basic ingredients at home.
What ingredients do you always have?
Eggs, rice, pasta, tomatoes, onions, cheese, and bread.
With those ingredients, you can prepare many simple meals.
Yes, a good omelet, pasta with tomato sauce, or a cheese sandwich.
Do you enjoy cooking?
I enjoy cooking when I have time, but after a long day, I sometimes prefer ordering food.
That's understandable. Cooking can be relaxing, but cleaning the kitchen afterward is less exciting.
Exactly. The meal is delicious, but the dirty dishes are waiting for you.
And that takes us naturally to restaurants and ordering food.
Choosing a restaurant can be almost as exciting as eating at one.
It depends on the occasion. If I'm meeting friends, I may choose a casual restaurant.
A casual restaurant is relaxed and informal. You can usually wear comfortable clothes and enjoy a simple meal.
Exactly. But for a birthday or an anniversary, I might choose a more elegant restaurant.
What do you consider before choosing a restaurant?
I think about the type of food, the location, the price, and the atmosphere.
The atmosphere is the feeling or mood of a place.
A restaurant may have a quiet atmosphere, a lively atmosphere, or a romantic atmosphere.
I like restaurants with a lively atmosphere when I'm with friends. I don't mind a little noise.
But if I'm having an important conversation, I prefer somewhere quieter.
Do you read online reviews before going to a restaurant?
Yes, but I don't believe every review. I look for common comments from different people.
That makes sense. One person may dislike a restaurant because the music was too loud, while another person may love the same atmosphere.
I also look at photos of the food.
Photos can be helpful, but sometimes the food looks much better in the picture.
That's true. The photograph may show a perfect burger, but the real burger arrives looking tired.
A menu is the list of food and drinks available in a restaurant.
Some menus are very simple. Others are long and difficult to understand.
I once went to a restaurant with a menu that had more than 100 dishes.
How did you choose?
I asked the waiter for help.
That's a good idea. You can say, "What do you recommend?"
Or, what's the most popular dish?
You can also ask, "What's the specialty of the restaurant?"
A specialty is a food or dish that a restaurant is especially known for.
For example, a seafood restaurant may be famous for grilled fish or fresh oysters.
A restaurant can also offer a daily special.
The daily special is a dish prepared especially for that day, often at a special price.
You might hear the waiter say, "Today's special is grilled salmon with vegetables."
Then you can ask, "Does it come with rice?"
"Does it come with?" is a very useful restaurant expression.
Yes. You can ask, "Does the burger come with fries?" Or "Does the meal come with a salad?"
Sometimes the menu says side dish.
A side dish is a smaller dish served with the main course, such as vegetables, rice, potatoes, or salad.
And the main course is the central or most important dish of the meal.
Before the main course, you may order an appetizer.
An appetizer is a small dish served before the main course.
For example, soup, bread, garlic bread, or a small salad.
What appetizer do you usually order?
I like bruschetta or a small plate of grilled vegetables.
I often order fried calamari.
Calamari is squid, usually cut into rings and fried or grilled. It's delicious, especially with lemon. Do you ever have trouble understanding ingredients on a menu?
Sometimes. I know common words, but some menus use very unusual descriptions.
If you don't understand something, you can ask, "What is this dish?"
Or, what are the ingredients?
You can also ask, "Is it spicy?" or "Is it vegetarian?"
That's important for people with dietary preferences or allergies.
Exactly. You should always ask if you're not sure about an ingredient.
Have you ever ordered something without knowing what it was?
Yes. Once I ordered a dish because the name sounded interesting.
What happened?
It was a very strong seafood dish, and I don't really like seafood.
That was an important lesson.
Yes. Now I ask questions before ordering.
When you're ready to order, the waiter may ask, "Are you ready to order?"
Then you can answer, "Yes, I am. I'd like the chicken, please."
Or, "I'll have the pasta."
"I'll have" is natural and common in restaurants.
You can also say, "Could I have the vegetable soup, please?"
Adding "please" makes the request polite.
And if you need more time, you can say, "Could we have a few more minutes, please?"
The waiter may answer, "Of course. Take your time."
That means you don't need to decide immediately.
Once everyone has chosen, the waiter writes down the order.
And then the cooking begins.
Which brings us to an important part of restaurant English, describing the food and making special requests.
Well, ordering food is easier when you know a few polite expressions.
Yes, the most basic expression is, "I'd like."
I'd like is a shorter way to say I would like.
For example, "I'd like a cheeseburger, please."
Or I'd like a glass of water.
You can also say, "Could I have?"
For example, could I have the chicken salad, please?
Both expressions are polite and natural.
What do you usually say when you order at a restaurant?
I usually say, "I'll have the steak with vegetables."
Do you ask how the steak is cooked?
Yes, I usually order it medium.
A steak can be rare, medium, medium well, or well done.
Rare means the inside is still quite red. Well done means it is cooked completely.
Some people have a very specific preference.
I know someone who always says, not too rare, not too well done.
That person wants medium.
Exactly.
What special requests do people make in restaurants?
They may ask for no onions, extra cheese, less salt, or sauce on the side.
On the side means that something is served separately.
For example, could I have the dressing on the side?
That's useful when you don't want too much dressing on your salad.
You can also say, could you leave out the onions?
To leave out means not to include something.
For example, could you leave out the pickles, please?
Or could you make it without cheese?
That's useful for people who don't eat dairy products.
Some people may be vegetarian or vegan.
A vegetarian usually does not eat meat or fish, but may eat eggs and dairy products.
A vegan avoids all animal products, including meat, fish, eggs, milk, and sometimes honey.
People may also follow a gluten-free diet or avoid specific ingredients because of allergies.
An allergy is a medical reaction to a particular food or substance.
If you have an allergy, you can say, I'm allergic to peanuts.
Or, does this dish contain nuts?
Contain means to have something inside.
You can ask, does this soup contain milk? Or does this dessert contain eggs?
It's important to be clear and polite.
Yes, you could say, I have a serious allergy, so could you please check with the kitchen?
That gives the restaurant a chance to confirm the ingredients.
What about changing a side dish?
You can ask, could I have rice instead of potatoes?
Instead of means replacing one thing with another.
For example, could I have vegetables instead of fries?
Sometimes the restaurant charges extra for a change.
Then the waiter may say, there's an extra charge for that.
An extra charge is an additional amount of money you have to pay.
If you don't mind, you can say, that's fine.
Or, no problem.
Do you ever ask for more bread?
Yes, I say, could we have some more bread, please?
And for water?
Could we have another bottle of water?
In some countries, tap water is free. In others, you may need to order bottled water.
Tap water comes from the restaurant's water system. Bottled water comes in a bottle and usually costs money.
You can ask, is the tap water free?
That's a useful question when you're traveling.
What about drinks? Do you order soda, juice, coffee, or something else?
I usually order sparkling water or juice.
Sparkling water has bubbles. Still water has no bubbles.
That's a small but useful difference.
I often order iced tea, especially in summer.
Do you want sugar in your tea?
A little, but not too much.
You can say, could I have some sugar, please?
Or could I have a slice of lemon?
A slice is a thin, flat piece cut from something, such as lemon or bread.
Once the food arrives, the waiter may ask, how is everything?
You can answer, everything is great, thank you.
If something is wrong, you should explain politely.
For example, excuse me, I ordered the chicken, but this is the fish.
Or, excuse me, this dish is cold.
You don't need to feel embarrassed about asking for the correct order.
The important thing is to stay polite and clear.
Exactly. And after the meal, there are still a few important expressions to learn.
Carol, what makes restaurant service good?
Good service means that the staff are polite, attentive, and helpful. The food should also arrive within a reasonable amount of time.
Attentive means paying attention to customers and noticing what they need.
Exactly. A good waiter may notice that your glass is empty or that you need another menu.
But the waiter shouldn't interrupt the conversation every 30 seconds.
That's true. Good service also means giving customers enough space.
Have you ever experienced very slow service?
Yes, once I waited almost an hour for a simple meal.
What did you do?
I asked politely, "Excuse me, could you check on our order?"
To check on an order means to find out what is happening with it.
The waiter apologized and went to speak with the kitchen.
Did your food arrive soon after that?
Yes, but by then I was very hungry.
That's when everything tastes better.
Maybe, but the service should still be reasonable.
At the end of the meal, you may want to order dessert.
Of course, you can ask, "Do you have a dessert menu?"
Or what desserts do you recommend?
My favorite dessert is cheesecake, but I also like fruit salad and ice cream.
I usually ask whether the dessert is large enough to share.
You can say, "Is this enough for 2 people?"
That's a useful question, especially when the portions are large.
A portion is the amount of food served to one person.
Some restaurants have very generous portions.
Generous can describe an amount that is larger than expected.
Other restaurants serve very small portions on very large plates.
It looks artistic, but you may still be hungry afterward.
When you finish eating, you usually ask for the bill.
In American English, people often say, "Could we have the check, please?"
In British English, "Could we have the bill, please?" is very common.
Both expressions are understood in many places.
You can also say, "Can we pay, please?"
Then the waiter brings the bill to your table.
You should check the bill carefully before paying.
Look at the items, the prices, and any additional charges. Sometimes the bill includes a service charge. A service charge is an extra amount added for the service.
If a service charge is already included, you may not need to leave an additional tip.
A tip is extra money given to the staff to show appreciation for good service.
Tipping customs are different in different countries.
That's important. When you travel, it's useful to learn what is normal in that place.
You can ask a local person, is tipping expected here?
Or, is the service charge included?
How do you usually pay?
I often pay by card or by phone. Sometimes I pay in cash.
Do you split the bill with friends?
Yes, especially when everyone ordered different things.
To split the bill means to divide the total between 2 or more people.
You can say, can we split the bill?
Or let's split it evenly.
Evenly means that each person pays the same amount.
But splitting evenly isn't always fair if one person ordered an expensive steak and another person only had a soup.
In that case, people may pay for what they ordered.
You can say, I'll pay for my meal.
Or, how much do I owe you?
How much do I owe you means asking how much money you need to pay someone.
When paying by card, the waiter may ask credit or debit.
They may also ask you to enter a PIN or sign the receipt.
A receipt is the piece of paper or digital record that shows what you paid for.
After paying, you can say, thank you, everything was delicious.
That's a polite way to end the meal.
Unless everything was terrible.
Even then, you can simply say, thank you.
Restaurant experiences can be very different depending on the food, price, service, and atmosphere.
And sometimes the best meals happen at home.
Bruno, do you prefer cooking at home or eating out?
It depends on my mood. Eating out is convenient and social, but cooking at home can be cheaper and healthier.
Convenient means easy and practical.
Exactly. When you eat out, you don't need to buy ingredients, prepare the food, or wash the dishes.
But you usually pay more for that convenience.
Yes, at a restaurant, you pay for the food, the service, the atmosphere, and the work of the staff.
Cooking at home gives you more control over the ingredients.
You can choose how much salt, oil, sugar, or sauce you use.
You can also prepare exactly the amount you need.
Although sometimes I cook too much.
That can be useful. You can save the leftovers for another meal.
Leftovers are food that remains after a meal.
For example, we had leftovers from dinner, so I took them to work for lunch.
I like leftovers because they save time.
What's your easiest meal to cook?
Pasta. I boil the pasta, prepare a simple sauce, and add vegetables or chicken.
How long does it take?
About 20 minutes.
My easiest meal is an omelet. I add eggs, cheese, tomatoes, and herbs.
Herbs are plants used to add flavor to food, such as basil, parsley, or rosemary.
Exactly. A few herbs can make a simple meal taste much better.
Do you follow recipes?
When I'm making something new, yes. But for simple meals, I usually cook from memory.
I often start with a recipe and then change it.
That can be dangerous.
Why?
Because you may think, I'll add just a little more, and suddenly the meal is completely different.
That's how new recipes are created.
Or how dinner becomes a disaster.
Both are possible.
Do you shop for groceries once a week?
Usually. I make a list before going to the supermarket.
A grocery list helps you remember what you need and avoid buying unnecessary things.
I sometimes go to the supermarket when I'm hungry.
That's a bad idea.
I buy too many snacks.
Being hungry can influence your decisions.
I also buy ingredients because they look interesting, but then I forget to use them.
That's why checking your refrigerator before shopping is helpful. Do you prefer fresh food or frozen food? I like both. Fresh vegetables are great, but frozen vegetables are convenient and last longer.
Frozen food can be useful when you don't have much time.
Exactly. The important thing is to have a balance.
What about ordering food online?
I order food occasionally, especially when I'm busy or want to try something different.
What do you usually order?
Thai food, sushi, pizza, or a burger.
Do you read the reviews before ordering?
Yes. I also check the delivery time and the delivery fee.
A delivery fee is the amount charged for bringing food to your home.
Sometimes the delivery fee is almost as expensive as the food.
That's when I decide to cook.
Ordering online is convenient, but it can become an expensive habit.
It's easy to click on an app without thinking about the total cost.
That's why I try to plan restaurant meals instead of ordering automatically.
Going to a restaurant can also be a social experience.
Yes, you can celebrate a birthday, meet a friend, have a business lunch, or enjoy a date.
Food often brings people together.
People may have different tastes, but sharing a meal creates a chance to talk and connect. To have different tastes means to prefer different things. For example, we have different tastes in food, but we always enjoy eating together.
That's a positive way to talk about differences.
And there are many ways to enjoy food, whether you cook at home, eat at a restaurant, or share a simple snack with a friend.
Let's review some useful expressions from today's conversation.
We used I'd like and could I have to order politely.
We talked about asking, what do you recommend? And what's the specialty of the restaurant?
We learned that on the side means served separately.
Leave out means not to include something.
Instead of means replacing one thing with another. To check on an order means to find out what is happening with it. To split the bill means to divide the total between people.
And leftovers are food that remains after a meal.
Try using some of these expressions the next time you talk about food or visit a restaurant.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode about food and restaurants.
We talked about favorite foods, eating habits, menus, ingredients, ordering meals, special requests, restaurant service, paying the bill, tipping, cooking at home, and ordering delivery.
We hope this conversation helped you feel more comfortable with everyday English related to food.
Remember these useful phrases: I'd like, could I have, what do you recommend, and could we have the bill please?
These expressions can help you communicate clearly and politely in many restaurants.
You can practice by imagining that you are ordering a meal. Say, I'd like the chicken with rice please.
Then ask, does it come with a salad?
You can also say, could I have the sauce on the side?
And at the end of the meal, could we have the bill please?
That's already a complete restaurant conversation.
If you enjoyed this lesson, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
Don't forget to turn on notifications. We post new English lessons every day.
And leave a comment telling us about your favorite food.
You can write, my favorite food is, or I usually eat.
You can also answer this question. Do you prefer cooking at home or eating out?
Try to answer in English, even if your sentence is short.
Every sentence you practice helps you become more confident.
Thank you so much for listening and learning with us today.
Keep practicing, keep trying new expressions, and enjoy your next meal.
See you in the next lesson.
Bye-bye.